Hey everyone, Morgan and Chickens here. We're going to be talking a little bit about raising chickens for just every day and for off-grid and whatever else, and kind of the benefits of them, what's difficult about raising them, you know, a bunch of that stuff. So we're just going to kind of dive right in. We've had a few different breeds of chickens. So these are the Rhode Island Reds. And then these two are Americanas. This white one we think is like some sort of off-breed of an Americana. But I love this white one. She's awesome. And then she's an Americana back there. They are Easter eggers is what they're called. She lays actually just a white egg. And they lay bluish green, our Americanas. And then here's another Americana. If you guys have seen our other video with her, where she had a little injured leg. She's not egg bound. I did, confirm that, because egg bound is deadly. With the egg bound chicken, you need to get that egg out a lot of ways, and there's a few ways to do that. I'm not going to talk about that in this video, but just like with any livestock, you have to take care of them. You have to know how to treat them if anything does go wrong. And so, we did have to build this second chicken coop in order to segregate her, but she is doing a lot better. She was getting picked on a lot, and that's why we're segregating her. But man, just from segregating her for just this like 1 or 2 weeks that we've been doing it, she's just so much better. I can just tell. We've had two other breeds of chickens. We've had Cochins and we've had Buff Orpingtons. Buff Orpingtons were our worst chickens. We hated them. They were aggressive. They were mean. We really didn't like them. Like everybody on the internet and everybody told us that Buff Orpingtons were like the most amazing chickens, so docile, so amazing. They weren't for us, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because we got them as older chickens and not as chicks. But all these chickens that we have, we got as chicks, and we raise them as chicks. And I think it makes a huge difference raising a chicken from chicks and raising them from like 6 months old or something. A lot of people will get chickens when they just want eggs from them. Like, okay, well, I want a chicken that's close to laying an egg, so they'll get like a 6-month-old chicken or something. But there's no bonding there. With the chicks and raising them as chicks, you have so much more opportunity for bonding with them. And I think that's important, because then you create happy chickens. I think it's the same with a lot of livestock too. Not all livestock. You can get a cow and well, just whatever, you can get a goat and it's probably okay, but you still want to bond with your livestock. A lot of people think it's just livestock. You just get a product from them. Like our chickens, our egg-laying chickens, they are not meat chickens. There are specific chickens that are meat chickens that you can raise, and they're kind of different in how you raise them and all that, but not really different. You still feed them, water them, and but these are just egg chickens. If we ever did have to cull a chicken, we would use the chicken, everything of the chicken, but they're not specifically bred or, used for meat. They're for eggs. Right now, everyone but Limpy is laying. So we're getting 4 eggs a day. That's a lot of eggs, and we're happy to give eggs away, and we eat a lot of eggs. So let's talk about food. So the food that we give them is just stuff that we buy. It's chicken feed, it's already, packaged. Now this is just for her, like the way that we have it there, but we actually have this container over here for them. This is to keep critters out, and it's to keep them from like pouring all of their food on the ground, which is what they were doing. Just having her in here, she's actually done really good with just this in here, and then her water over there. Just one chicken won't knock over all the water and food, but multiple chickens, they will, because chickens are just rude. So this is just a general guideline. Your custom mix can be made up of whatever's best for you and your chickens. So main feed for chickens is alfalfa meal. It's really good for winter and it's high in protein. Corn is a mainstay for chickens and you can store it whole. Field peas for protein to avoid soybean use. Wheat, oats and or barley, less than 15% of total diet together. And then things you can add to it is going to be salt, grit, oyster shell. We have a huge bag of oyster shell that we add to their diet. Probiotic, crab meal, flaxseed, mineral supplement, kelp, fish meal, cultured yeast, B vitamins, minerals, and et cetera like that. Omega-3s they really need. In general, you know, if you do buy feed from the store, I would suggest keeping bags in Tupperware, and I'm getting a few months worth, you know, getting like a few big bags, putting them in Tupperware and storing them. If you have enough acreage, you can let them roam and they'll be consistently fresh pasture. Chickens can self-regulate. It's easy for them to find enough insects, bugs, weeds, grasses, and seeds to stay healthy. And then in the winter, you can supplement, you know, when there's not enough food when they're grazing. And then, of course, along with food, you're going to need to water them. Just like with anything on this earth, everything needs to eat, everything needs to drink, you know, pretty much. And so you need to consider that they will need water and food every single day. And they also need to be happy, and they need to be warm, and they need to be not cool, but they need to be warm, you know, especially now that it's winter. We actually can close off this whole coop, and there's actually a heat lamp in there. I don't know if you can see it. We've got it secured. Don't worry. We know that could be big trouble. Yeah, so we put a heat lamp in there, and then we close everything. We can close that. We can close that. Make sure that there are no drafts, just to keep them extra warm, especially when it's 20 or 30 degrees out. You know, you just want to make sure they're nice and warm in the winter time. We actually move her into here just at night, and then we segregate them again in the morning because hers actually doesn't close, and there's no way for us to get a heat lamp in there. So it's okay, you know, it's just what you got to do. So just like I've said, you know, with any livestock, you're going to have to figure out how you're going to feed them. What water are you going to feed them with? You know, are you storing extra water, or are you going to go get water for them? Do you have a rain barrel system that you're going to, you know, get the water from? How are you going to get that system for them? You know, you still have to feed and water them. You still have to make sure that they're okay. And you have to have the guts to deal with them if they're ever sick, if you ever have to cull them. Because let me tell you, an accident happened with these chicks, and we had two of them. Well, we had two of them get sick, and we had to cull two of them. Meaning, if somebody doesn't know what that word means, it means that we had to kill them. And we had to kill the two chicks because they were suffering, they were in extreme pain, and we had to make the decision. Instead of trying, we did some efforts to try to save them, but instead of just continuing to let them suffer, we culled them. And it was really hard. It was really hard because we felt like we were letting them down. You know, it's hard, you know, when you raise livestock. And you know, you know, if you do have chickens or any kind of livestock, I would highly suggest getting some sort of books on what to do if, you know, some sort of ailments happen. You know, you can actually buy chicken antibiotics and then just store them in the freezer. We actually have some chicken antibiotics. Know the symptoms of illnesses, you know, and how to treat a bunch of things. You know, it's just like with any other animal. You know, your pets, do you have stored food and water for your pets? Yes. So with any livestock, you're going to have stored food and water. And also another thing is free range chickens are great. You know, they eat up bugs. You know, they're just great. Free ranging chickens are great. Sometimes we have to keep them in their coops because we have very, very short fences, and they'll get into the neighbors' yards and things. Predators of chickens. We have hawks, we have cats, there are, you know, loose dogs around here. You know, we have to make sure that they're safe from predators who want the chickens. So far we've been extremely lucky whenever we've let them out, but we're always just kind of scared because they do hop the fences into our neighbor's yard. And thankfully our neighbor is really cool, as she loves the chickens over there. And they only go into her yard for whatever reason. They don't go further. They don't go into our other neighbor's yard. They don't try to jump our back fence or anything. And that brings me to my next point. The more bonding you have with them, the more time you spend with them, the more treats you give them, you know, just the more time you spend with them, they don't want to run away. You know, they may go into our neighbor's yard just because they want more bugs or whatever, but they're not going to run away. They always come back. Every single night they're back in their coop. They don't escape. They don't, you know, run away because we treat them good, and they know that. In fact, whenever they hear the back door open, they come rushing. If they're in our neighbor's yard and they hear that back door opening, they all rush over here expecting treats, because I give them treats every day, and they expect that, they know that, and they like that, you know, and it's good for them and for me and for everybody. You know, we're in an urban area. You know, we have a house, but this is backyard chickens. You know, we're not on a, you know, 20-acre plot of land or nothing. We're not even on an acre. We're not even on a half an acre. We have backyard chickens, and it's definitely possible. You know, if you have to get a permit, get the permit. It's not hard. We have to get a permit if we want more than 6 chickens. Right now we have 5, but if we want more than 6, you know, we would need a permit. And if we ever did, we'd just get the permit. It's like $15, and you just get the permit. That's it. There's like no proof of like anything. It's just buy the permit. That's literally it. Anyway, okay, thank you so much for sticking with me on this topic. If you have any questions, I am happy to try to answer them. And if I don't know them, I will offer another resource for you. But there are so many great resources online for really experienced, you know, people who raise chickens, and so many books out there. Highly recommend reading up on them, and reading up on the breeds, reading up on how to raise them, you know, because you, like when they're chicks, you have to have heat lamps. You know, if you are off grid without, you know, electricity or anything, you know, there are alternative ways to actually raise chickens without heat lamps that I've read, but I have not done. We actually raise them with heat lamps. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching Conquer Tomorrow by Preparing Today. If you have any questions, tips, comments, suggestions, anything about chickens or livestock in general, put them in comments down below. Talk to y'all tomorrow. Bye.